Hey, I'm Patrick Stegall. I'm a Memphis criminal defense lawyer. Today I'm going to talk about probation. How do you get probation on a case? Are you even eligible for it? What conditions are going to be required? We all know what probation is. We all have heard of it and maybe know somebody who's been through probation. Probation basically is an alternative sentence, okay? If you are charged with a crime and you've gone to court, and if there's been a finding of guilt, either you plead guilty or you're found guilty following a trial, the next step for the judge is to decide what to do with you, what sentence are you going to receive, and probation may be one of those options. So probation is an alternative sentence. Now, it's not available for everybody. It is not a promise or a guarantee. It doesn't just automatically happen. Probation is it can be extraordinary relief in some cases, and it's got to be earned. It's not just given. So how do you get probation if you've been found guilty? First of all, it's going to depend on your charge. Some charges, by law, simply are not probation eligible. Where I practice in Tennessee and in Mississippi and Arkansas, under the law, certain crimes are not eligible for probation. And as you can imagine, these are going to be very serious crimes: felonies, violent crimes, armed robbery, murder, of course, most sex crimes, crimes involving children. These are very serious crimes, and by law, you're just not eligible for probation if you're charged with one of these, if you're convicted of one. Lesser crimes, you might be probation eligible. So that's the first thing, is to see, is this even a probation eligible offense? Misdemeanors are almost always eligible for probation, okay? Now, as I said, probation isn't just given to you, it's got to be earned, and if you go before the judge for a sentencing hearing, you ask for probation, and this is going to depend on many factors, not just the case, but about yourself. What I want to do in preparing a client to ask for probation is go over the case and prepare and sort of rehearse our testimony, because you, the client, are going to be testifying. You have to prove to the judge that you're worthy of this. And so you probably are going to testify. The judge wants to see acceptance of responsibility and a willingness to go through whatever conditions are going to be required of you on probation. So there are things that I want to present to the judge: yourself, and also your character, friends and family who know you, if they can come to court and speak for you, or at least write letters to the judge on your behalf. Those are very important. Judges love those. Work history. Okay, if you have a good work history, education. If there are other factors in your life, if you have overcome difficulties like illness or disability, or if you care for somebody who's ill or has a disability, those are factors that the judge will consider. Now, there could be factors that work against you. If there are facts in your case that are aggravating circumstances, if somebody was seriously hurt, okay? If it's a theft case, maybe it's an embezzlement from a charity. That looks terrible, stealing from a charity. An aggravating factor like that. So we have to go through all these factors and weigh them against each other, put them in front of the judge, and that's how you come to the decision of whether you're going to get granted probation or not. I will tell you that if it's not one of those serious major felonies, and you're a first-time offender, and you've got a good work history and people on your side, you've got a good chance of getting probation, just as a general statement, okay? But each case is different. Now, if you're on probation, what does that mean? What are you going to have to do? People ask me, like, can I leave the state? Yes, you can. If you're on probation, you're going to have a probation officer assigned to you. Just keep in touch with them. Keep in touch with your probation officer. You can leave the state, let them know where you're going and when you're going to be gone. Does my probation officer show up at my house or my place of work? Technically they can, but in all my years of practicing and having clients on probation, I've never heard of that happening. They just don't have the time for that. Mostly they want to know where you live and where you work. And other than that, they pretty much leave you alone. Are you going to have to report in regularly? Probably not. Initially, they're going to want to meet with you. After that, again, they want to know how to get in touch with you if they need to. They may call you occasionally. They're probably not going to call you in regularly unless it's drug testing. If drug testing is a condition, you're going to have to go in and test during your probation period. And that leads to the next issue is what conditions, what am I going to have to do while I'm on probation? If it's a drug-related case, then you're probably going to have random and frequent drug testing, community service, full-time employment, or education, or being in school full-time. Okay, if it's a theft type case where money was lost or it's vandalism, restitution. Probably going to have to pay money back or pay to have property fixed. It's really up to the judge, whatever conditions are placed. Those are some of the more common ones. You will have probation supervision fees to pay. It's not cheap. Going through the court system and hiring lawyers, paying your court costs and fines and your probation fees, all that's got to be paid while you're on probation. Ankle monitoring device might be another requirement. But the biggest requirement that you'll have while you're on probation is not get another arrest. Okay, if you do that, you're doing 95% of what you're supposed to do. Probation is a contract between you and the court. The judge says, I will keep you out of jail for this amount of time, and I may even give you the opportunity to have this erased from your record, but you're going to do some things for me. And those things are some of the things I just described. So if you do all that, especially, most importantly, not getting another arrest, yeah, you are doing good. That'll go a long way towards successfully completing your probation. And once you're done with probation, then you're done. That's pretty much it. So that's how it works. So the big things to take away are not every crime is going to be probation eligible. Probation is not, it's not a privilege. It's got to be earned. It's got to be granted by the judge. It's not a promise. I can't promise anybody probation. It always has to go through the judge. You are going to have requirements, things to do, maybe drug testing or reporting, paying fees. So that's basically how it works. If you are facing a charge and you're thinking, am I going to go to jail? Give me a call. We may be able to avoid that, put you into an alternative program like probation. Thanks for watching.